I love it. Next video that we covered, which we did, I think yesterday I dropped it, was the Optoma UHZ65. So the UHZ65 is the laser version of Optoma's UHD65, which is lamp-based. Everybody that knows that the UHD was a lamp-based projector, which is, I think, max hours on lamps are about 6,000. Lasers are like 20,000 on its highest mode. So just think if you ran the lamp version on high mode for its lifetime, it'd be something like 2,000 hours, maybe like 2,500 hours for a lamp-based projector on its high mode. On the laser, high mode is 20,000 hours. That's insane amount of hours for a projector. And that's high, so if you're using it on low, it's probably like 60,000 hours or something. And there's one misconception too, that if you buy a laser projector, it's only going to last 20,000 hours and die. That's not true. If after 20,000 hours, the max brightness is just going to start dimming after about 20,000 hours. It's still going to work. It's just not going to be at like full blast. You might be at like 90% or 88% or something like that. So it's not like, you buy a laser projector, it's like $4,000, or you buy one of those Xiaomi ones for like $2,000. It's not going to die after 20,000 hours. It's just going to get a little dimmer. Just like lamps. Lamps get dimmer the first time you use them. They just slowly just start to decline kind of rapidly. But for a laser, it'll get dimmer. It's just going to take a lot longer to get dimmer. So you don't throw it away after 20,000 hours. You're still going to use it. But let's face it, after 20,000 hours, I mean, that's a few years down the road. There's obviously going to be something better a couple years down the road. So you're probably not even going to keep it after the 20,000 hours. At least I know I wouldn't. But I know I've got some requests to do the Theo version of the Optoma, which I do believe the Theo version is supposed to be like something like 80% Rec 2020. So you're going to get a better color out of it, especially for like HDR. But I do think that the Theo version is the TV Pro guys. I think they're like a company, like a retail store or something like that. I think they modified themselves. So it's not like a normal thing you could pick up at like a B&H or like an Amazon or something like that. I do believe they mod it themselves. So I probably wouldn't do that because, they're their own. They're kind of like me modding something and me selling it. I feel that would be kind of weird if I purchased somebody else's product and that wasn't kind of like easily accessible to everybody. But I know there is mods for it. I don't know what they do for it. I think I YouTubed it really quick. I'm not sure what makes it so special. Maybe threw a filter on it or something like that. But anyways, the Optoma 4K projector, first thing that really struck me was how crazy bright it was. It was almost like having a gigantic Samsung Q90R like on my wall, like the size 126-inch Q90. You guys know that Samsung TVs are extremely bright, very punchy, like full array TV. This is what this laser was like. It was like intense brightness. I gotta say that I was kind of blown away by the brightness because I'm so used to my projector, which is only 1800 lumens. I got some cops outside. But yeah, my projector is only like 1800 lumens, but if I use it in echo mode, so it's probably a lot less than that. It's probably like 1200 or something. But this is like twice as bright. So I mean, HDR was just like crazy bright. I tried to put Aquaman on there for a little bit, but I had to edit that thing like 5 times because I think if your clips are longer than like 5 seconds, you get flagged for copyright. So I had to like take snapshots of it, just show some screenshots. So that took me a long time to actually edit back and forth. But yeah, I wanted to show you what it looked like in movement. It's kind of hard to show on a YouTube video how bright something gets because YouTube compresses it. Plus, it's not an HDR anyway, so a lot of those scenes kind of look blown out on the video. Where in actual person, it actually looked very good. But yeah, man, the laser, man, I think laser is like the way to go, man. If like Sony or JVC had an affordable laser projector, that wasn't like $25,000 or $45,000. It's going to be like a game changer. I see a lot of people, especially with larger spaces, just moving to laser projectors because very hard to discern between like very like the quality of this of the Optoma, like the crispness and the detail. Even though it's not a true 4K projector, it's still kind of like pixel shifting. But the detail looked almost as good as the Sony. I'm going to say it's like 90% as good as the Sony. I'm talking you had to get up to the screen and kind of like put your eyeballs on top of it to see any kind of like minor differences. But I do think they classify the Optoma as a 4K projector, even though it's not true 4K native panels. It's 4K in the sense that you are still getting 8 million pixels on the screen at one time. So, you know, the way they're shifting the panel, I think it's like 2516 by something. I forgot what the number was, but they're shifting that to get 8 million pixels on the screen at one time, which is the same as a native panel. It's 8 million pixels. Whereas like the JVC E-Shift and the Epson upscaling, the Home Cinema Pro, they're shifting a 1080p panel, which is only getting like 4 million pixels on screen. So I don't know how they can get away with calling it 4K, I guess because it's 4 million pixels, but like true 4K is like 8 million. So the Optoma is doing DLP, upscaling, pixel shifting, which gets you the full 8 million pixels. So I guess you can call it true 4K in a sense, even though the panels aren't true 4K, but you're still getting true 4K resolution on screen. So I guess depending on your train of thought, how you want to take it, true 4K, faux 4K, it looked like true 4K to me. At least in my space, it looked like true 4K. Like I wouldn't be disappointed if they were to be like, hey, we're gonna give you this projector and your Sony died. I'd be totally content with it. But yeah, black levels weren't the greatest. I mean, they were pretty close. I don't want to be like it sucked, but it was pretty close to the Sony. So the Sony did have a slight edge, especially when I was watching Godzilla. Godzilla is a very dark movie. There were some scenes in Aquaman, I think underwater, where they're first going down. He was going down with Amber Heard. Contrast was just a little bit better on the Sony. But I mean, it's no slouch. You're not going to be disappointed if you get the projector. But yeah, man, just brightness though. Brightness definitely better than my Sony. Detail almost as good as the Sony. Black levels almost as good as the Sony. And colors almost as good as the Sony too. I'm gonna be like, it was like 85% of what the Sony was. 85, maybe 90% of what the Sony was. For only $4,000, the Sony was like 10 grand. I would like to put it up against like a JVC. I think that's 7 grand, 7 or 8 grand. But again, man, you're still saving 5 grand from my model, and you're saving an extra like 4 grand from the entry level JVC for that kind of performance for only $4,000. It's crazy. Unfortunately, there's no 3D, which kind of like blew my mind. I thought 3D was going to work, even though because it said 3D in the menu. But I guess it's only for like PC 3D. I've never used PC 3D, so I wasn't able to try it out. I did try it out with the Oppo, and it didn't work. I just got the big splash screen saying that you had to hook it up to a compatible 3D display. Today's drink of choice is LaCroix. Okay. But yeah, I did get the projector from the guys at B&H. B&H is I don't know if you would say a sponsor of the video. I mean, I don't get to keep it or anything. I just get to borrow it for a little bit, but they did help out. I didn't get paid for it or anything like that either. So they did loan me the unit. And if you guys have ever been in New York and ever been to B&H Photo, they're like the camera mecca of like the world. You go there, they have every single camera that you can imagine there. And they have like separate home theater sections. They got a projector section, which you can go check out that projector as well. I just wanted to tell you guys that I did get it from B&H Photo. I got to give it back. Probably like this week I'm going to ship it back. But thanks to B&H, man, they lent me some stuff. I got a receiver they lent me too, which I'm going to probably do the review for. this week. But yeah, anyways, back to the projector. I was thoroughly pleased by it. I'm going to try to get the Cinema P1X in for a review. So I contacted them to see if they can get me that in for review. I think that comes out in November. So hopefully we can get that one in. And speaking of ultra short throw projectors, I got the Vava 4K projector in-house. I've been playing around with that thing for a little bit. It's a nice little projector. I don't know if you guys have seen the Vava or not, but it's I'm not able to get 4K HDR to work for some reason. I can get 4K to work, but not HDR. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but if you guys have the Vava, let me know if you guys have seen it, and are you getting HDR to work, because I can't seem to do it. But I'm probably going to drop that video probably end of next week. And then I'll do the receiver next week as well. But yeah, man, check out the Optoma. I think it's an awesome, very awesome looking projector. I was very surprised at how good it looked. I didn't think it was going to look as good as the Sony, to be honest, but just the brightness and everything, brightness and sharpness, standout projector, only for $40,000. Let me know what you guys think about the Optoma. And if you haven't watched the video, go watch the video. Oh, I forgot. Well, hold on. Back to real quick. I forgot to talk about the rainbow effect on the Optoma. The funny thing is that I actually talked about the rainbow effect in the video. For some reason, I must have skimmed over that part and just cut it out for some reason. I don't know why. I went back and looked at it, so I actually did shoot it. But there is rainbow effect. You can get the rainbow effect on RBE, rather. If you're kind of sensitive to rainbow effect, you're going to see it. I can see it. I can see it all the time if I want to see it. If you're very sensitive to it and you don't know how to not see it, then you're probably going to see it all the time. I can see it when I want to see it. And if I don't want to see it, then I don't see it. Every once in a while, I would catch a glimpse. I would catch a glimpse of it, just a little small rainbow here and there. If I like dart my eyes back and forth, I'll see it. But if I'm just kind of like not focusing on it, then I won't see it. So I guess it's kind of like, it's really dependent on the individual. If you're super sensitive to it and you can't not see it, then you're probably going to see it all the time. I guess I've trained myself over time. I've owned a lot of DLP projectors in the past. I've always been able to see them with Optoma projectors. I think I've had a Sanyo as well. I've had a Mitsubishi, I think. Always been able to see them, but I think over time I've just kind of trained myself to not see it. So if you can't do that, you're probably going to see it all the time. So I just wanted to touch on that really quick, because I totally forgot to talk about that. And noise level as well. Noise level is pretty quiet. It's actually just as quiet as the Sony. I think the Sony might be like a tad louder, actually. But then again, I had the Optoma lower on a lower shelf. But yeah, it's pretty quiet though. I don't think you're not gonna be bothered by it. It's not super loud. It's not like those cheap $200 projectors I've been reviewing, which I don't think I'm gonna do that anymore. But yeah, rainbow effect, covered that, and then the noise. Totally forgot to mention those in the video.